So Jolie, welcome.
Thank you.
This is Ghana Money TV, Ghana Money King Kong, Nana Opoku, the guy you've been speaking to for a couple of weeks now, and I know we've started having a couple of chats talking about some stuff. So I thought it was a good idea for us to do a video call, because I think this is the first time sort of I'm seeing you. Let's have a video call. Let's catch up on some of the things that we've talked about, and then see where we go from here. So,
okay, brilliant.
Aquaba.
Yeah. Me does.
Hey, that's good. That's good. That's very good. Yes, yes, you're learning. That's
thank you. Thanks for having me. And giving me this opportunity. I think it's a great thing that you do. I've watched quite a few of your videos. I've been binge watching quite, a lot of videos about Ghana and agriculture and so on and so forth. So yes, it's great to actually speak to the person. I've been watching in these videos. So thank you for this opportunity, and also for all the communications and answering all the very many questions I have about everything. So I appreciate that.
Yes. So I mean, tell me about yourself and this journey of, because I started this, as I told you earlier, about the first month in 2018, I think in January 2018, after a couple of years of returning back to Ghana and working in different parts of the industries. And I realized something was missing, especially the information that was going out to people out of the country, and even Ghanaians who were not based in Ghana any longer. And the conversation was purely negative, and that of, I wouldn't say not seriousness attached to the country. The branding of Ghana was different.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was a journey of trying to put out, quote unquote, quality information, or let's say positive vibe about the country Ghana, and me being an ordinary person wanting to tell people that it is a good place to be, and this you can do. And so that started off, and it's been very interesting, if I may say. Me speaking to you now, it's a testament of that. And interestingly, we sort of living in the same area in London, and it's crazy. When you told me about it, I was like, this is unreal. But it's very interesting how it's all connected now.
I know. It was so funny. Do you mind me sharing that?
No, I don't mind. It's fine.
Yeah. So I watched one of your videos where you went on, onto the farm and talked to the people there and everything. So what happened was, I saw you in this video, and you were talking to the people, and people are, in the comments had loads of questions, and people were asking for your details. And so I just took the opportunity, and I took your number, and then I started, I texted you, I think the next day after watching the video. I didn't expect you to get back to me, but you did. But the funny thing is, when I put your number on my phone, and when I went onto WhatsApp, I was like, this is very weird, because I know these children on the profile picture. And I was like, no, there's a mistake. There's a mistake here. So I went into the person who I thought it was like, okay, so I went into their details. I was like, no, they've got, what's happened here is all confusing. And then I was like, okay, let me just text and see what's happening. What's going to happen?
What's going on?
What's going on? And just to find out that indeed, they were the children I thought they were. And I asked you, I said, I know these children in your profile pictures. Like, okay. And I said, I know their mum. And then you told me, that she was your wife. But the funny thing is that my children and your children actually go to the same swimming place.
They go to swimming place.
The same place. Yeah. And I, what, I just sat there and I was like, this is such a weird thing. Like, it was just very surreal. And you know, it just, you know, reconfirmed that this world is so small. It's
Absolutely.
you know,
Absolutely.
and we should be, you know, and I obviously befriended your wife and everything. I've known her for quite some time because we go, you know, same place every week, and we should be careful how we actually treat people because we just don't know
Absolutely. You don't
how.
know. You
You
wouldn't
just
know
never
how it
know.
all play out sometimes. It's amazing.
Exactly,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
So that
So
was
I mean, I
remarkable.
know, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Um.
have had a lot of conversations with Black Americans, African Americans in the Caribbean, those in
Yeah.
the US, and then a couple of maybe Caribbeans in the UK over the years, and we've been trying to do this. So I think I didn't expect you to be African, you quote unquote, you know what I mean? So when you said that, I said, that's interesting because there's one thing somebody who is living out of Ghana or somebody who is not an African who wants to come back to Africa and is wanting to come to a different, let's say a different country. Then he told me
Yeah.
about the connection, which I thought was very interesting. But and so how does Ghana come into the picture? Why Ghana, if I ask you
Do you,
why Ghana?
do you
Because
know
it's
what?
some interesting point that people share every now and then if I ask why Ghana.
Yeah, obviously my husband's Ghanaian, and I am South African. I moved to the UK. I've been here for about 16 years. And I've always wanted to move back to Africa. You know, it's always been on the radar. You know, at some point I'm gonna move back to
Yeah.
to Africa, whether it's South Africa, whether it's Ghana, and I've taken my children to South Africa, but my children have never been to Ghana. Um, and I think for me, the whole Ghanaian connection is obviously my husband, but I don't have many South African friends in the UK. In fact, I don't have any. All my friends, all my friends are either, you know, West Indian or they Ghanaian. You know, so it's either Jamaica or Ghana. So it's just been, I've learned so much about the culture that I feel like, you know what, I need to go there. I need to visit there. I need to, um, I, I don't know. I just feel a real connection to,
Yeah.
you know, with it. And one of my really good friends, you know, lives there now. She moved back in November last year. She moved back to Ghana, and we're in contact every single day.
And
And
she's
when
a
I speak,
Ghanaian. She's
yes,
a okay.
she is, but she lived here as well, and she just moved back. And do you know what the thing is, right? When she was here, you know how London is. We constantly stressed. We have deadlines. We have to do this. We have to do that. At this time, we do this. Like for instance, me setting up the Zoom. Oh my goodness, I've got one meeting. I've got 1 minute to do this. I've got 1 minute. We constantly we are so timely.
Yes.
And it's very, and it gets very stressful. But then, and that's how she was when she was over here. So now that she's over there, she is so relaxed. She's a completely different person. And even myself, when I go to South Africa, I'm so relaxed. And I find that, you know, people tend to have less than we have over here in the West, but they have the most important thing, I would say, they have peace of mind. And that's, for me, that's a very big thing. That's my main value is peace of mind. That's why I want to, you know, I want to go over there and just see how it goes. I'm not going to drag my husband to South Africa, so, you know, it's easier to just choose Ghana. You
I
know,
mean, the way you described it, to be honest with you, sent some goosebumps around me. It's you you describe something that a lot of people can relate to, and
yeah,
even though people know they are happier, or maybe they're very much happy in the States. I hosted a family out of during the year of return staff in Ghana,
yeah,
and they
yeah,
came from the States, and we had a lot of conversations. And he was so he was coming back if it wasn't for this pandemic in May. And
Yeah.
I have a lot of other people who felt that this place is where we have to be. And if you look across what is now happening all over the world, you can see that we have an opportunity to be on a land which would have us, and the peace and the happiness, and just the way you said this. It's not because people are lazy or people don't want to go to a certain pace of lifestyle, but it is just that life can be done in a different way and you can still be happy. You know, it's not always trying to catch the train, trying to run after the bus. You understand? Even though people have busier lifestyles over here as well, you still have an understanding of peace and happiness, and there's always this calmness. You know, you need to be, we take time for certain things, but it's still good for the human body. And so I think that is something that I can understand. And since you said your friend is here, and I bet she's happy, she's telling you how she's enjoying it and all that.
Exactly. But you know, we talk about everything, and it comes with its ups and downs. You know, she tells me all about it. She struggles to do this, she struggles to do that, but those are it's like everywhere. You're going to have struggles wherever you go in life. And I just think it's very sad, because I'm so closely connected to the Ghanaian community. My hairdresser, who sadly passed away last year, she was Ghanaian. You know, all these many people that I know, I find it very, that's one thing that I find weird. Sorry, I hope it's not offensive, but
that's fine. No.
Everyone that I know is building a house in Ghana. And I'm like, why are people so obsessed with building houses there? But the sad thing that I find is that a lot of them don't live to go and actually live in those houses. They just build. And what happens to all these houses they build? There's more to life than just building a house. You know, like my hairdresser, she built her house. She died last year. She never even saw the house that she built. She just sent money.
This is a very interesting topic that you just mentioned. And for somebody like myself who's traveled before and I've come back, and you realize that at any stage in your life in Ghana, and or possibly everybody wants to own their own property. That is understandable. For people who travel abroad, it all depends on at the stage when they traveled, and people build these houses not necessarily that they are building it to live in themselves. Sometimes people do that so family back home can also enjoy some bit of and a good environment to live in. But you're right, there is a lot of times that investments have gone into things because you don't live here, and over time you don't even get the chance to even enjoy that kind of investment. So it is an area that if you decide to come back, as we were talking about, if you're coming, you understand that whether you want to rent a house, you want to buy a house, or you want to build it yourself, that's also it's something that you need to,
I have nothing against building houses. I honestly, I think it's a very good thing. But it's just that every single, you know, majority of like, and you'd find it's usually the older people that, you know, they tend to be into this, you know, building houses. And I just think it's really sad, because as you know, London is a very, it's a very busy place, and people don't rest. If you rest in London, you just don't get any rest. It's the children, it's the housework, it's your own job, it's literally you do everything, and that's every single day. And I just think there's more, like, why should I work so hard over here? I've got a very demanding job. I'm not a lazy person, but I do think there's more to life than, you know, slaving away every single day. It's just not, I think and one other thing is, I know Ghanaians like are very hard working people as well, and you find that they've got 3 jobs. You're a carer there, you work in the barber shop over there, And then when you finish, you've got an extra. And I'm like, why are you doing that? Why are you? I know we have to take care of ourselves and our families, but surely we can go back and we can do something to Africa, to our own, countries,
I
and
think I
and
think
contribute. And
it's true. It's true. It's very possible, and that should be the thinking process that I think a lot of people are now getting to understand, that it's okay for you to go seek a better place if you are looking for something which you think it's there. But at a
yeah,
certain point in time, you should still look at the possibility or the opportunities that await, because it's not easy, and I wouldn't say
yeah,
it's just easy for you to just come and settle Ghana and then go through
yeah,
enjoying life. There are things that you need to be able to do and put in place so that that
yeah.
transition and that decision would be worthwhile. So if I ask you, what are your expectations? What are you looking for in this whole process of trying to come to Ghana?
I, like I said, obviously, for me, peace of mind is a big thing. I've worked for all the years that I've been in this country. I've worked, 2, 3 jobs. I've studied many years. I've reached a point where in my career where I worked so hard to get where I am at the moment. And now that I'm here, I'm like, you know what? I'm not really satisfied. This is not what I thought it would be like. And now I feel like, you know what, I want to go back to my, to the motherland. I want to go back. I want open field. I want that freedom when I go outside. Over here, your neighbors on top of you, you've got one underneath, you've got one on every side. We just like on top, next to, everywhere. It's so busy.
Yes.
I don't want that. I want to go somewhere where I go outside, I smell fresh air. I might, hear a cockroach over there. I just want that. I just want Africa. I just want, all of that. And I don't know how to put it, but it's just what my soul craves for, just to go to the motherland. And one other thing that I wanted to say is that I find that it's very, people who want to go back are ones that aren't so westernized. I don't know how to explain this, but I've got Ghanaian friends who are not interested in going at all, because they can't deal with the traffic, they can't deal with the heat. I'm like, your skin is made for the heat. You talking about you can't go back to I don't understand that sort of thinking. Do you know what I mean?
I agree.
Or they complain about, it's like really weird things. And then you have ones who are like, you know what, I think it's best for my children to understand their roots, to know where they're from, to go and contribute to the economy, or and that's what I want for myself, and what I want for my children. I'm tired of working for, and this might be controversial, but I do believe that I can contribute to, to Africa. I've done what I, you know as much as I can for this country, and I do think it's time to think about going back there.
For me, it just makes sense if you have the opportunity and you can do it. Because one of the things that
Yeah,
always comes up, and I always say, is that this trying to come back to the motherland is not for everybody, and
yeah,
it's not for everybody at certain stages in life. So
yeah,
this same person who is probably now saying, I can't deal with this, can't deal with that, at a certain stage of their life would we want to be in Ghana or coming back to their roots because of the circumstances they find themselves. And so
yeah,
you've gotten, as you just described, there's a lot of challenges that you've gotten to you've heard so much about. Which one particular one? What do you have a particular one that you want to maybe discuss or maybe ask about, that you've heard that in Ghana, this and this is there, and it is something that I really want to understand how it works? What is the weirdest thing that you've heard about Ghana that you want to know?
that I want to know about, as in there's so much that I want to know. I've got my concerns. Is that what you mean? Or
Yeah,
I've got
yeah, you consider
yeah.
that sort of, yeah, things
The
you've got.
one thing, for me, it is healthcare. That's one thing that I'm obviously over here, as you know, you just jump in your car and you go to A&E, and that's it. I've heard quite scary stories about people going to the hospital and they have quite serious illnesses and they've been given paracetamol, things like that, or there being so much traffic that the ambulance can't even get to the hospital, and people maybe sadly dying in the process. Things like that really scare me. Stories like those make me think, maybe I don't know if I could do this. Do you know what I mean? So
I agree,
um
and I don't know if you want me to talk about it from my
yeah,
point of view.
yeah,
And so I think somebody's asked me this before, and it's, I mean, from somebody coming from the UK, the NHS, which people still do complain. It's an amazing service. For
yeah,
the little that I've seen, I know that there's still gaps, or people know there's still issues. But the healthcare system, it's not like that in the UK. And we have the National Health Insurance Scheme, which works with a sort of a premium, one-time premium, whereby you, once you are on it, you get certain care and certain medication for free based on that scheme.
right,
And so everybody in Ghana is advised and encouraged to be on there. It is not a perfect system, because there are still things in there which people still complain, and there are other diseases and sicknesses which are the point that maybe people don't read what they're entitled to. So there's always this
yeah,
conversation about me being on the scheme, but then they didn't treat me, or they are still taking me
yeah,
fees and all that, because you need to understand the type of diseases and drugs, medication, which is on that scheme. So that
yeah,
scheme is there, and there's I mean, the healthcare system is completely private and public services coming together at various districts, various cities, and all that. So we have the government hospitals, we have the private hospitals, and it is distributed across the country. All the government hospitals are on the scheme, and some of the private hospitals are also on the national health scheme.
okay, right,
So recently, the government of Ghana went into purchasing ambulances that has been distributed across the various districts. So ambulance service is supposed to be working. I've tried it before. It didn't go according to the way I thought it should, but that
okay,
doesn't mean people haven't had good experiences with it. So for me, I would not be the person who is sitting here trying to sell Ghana and then want to concentrate on the negatives about the healthcare
of
system.
course,
All that I
yeah,
will say is that it is not like the UK healthcare system. If
yeah,
you are here, you need to look at the best option of healthcare that could be for you in terms of how you want to be able to afford it, and where you want to go. And so people have been in Ghana, stayed in Ghana, lived in Ghana, but they've never experienced anything of those things that you've heard before, even
yeah,
though they've all used the government healthcare system throughout their lives. Others have
right,
gone through using the private healthcare systems, and they've had worst case scenarios. And
right,
so, yes, I wouldn't say the stories are not true or the stories are not happening. It's different. And I say this all the time for all other sectors. It is different. The way we run our healthcare system is different. There could be improvements, which I know every decent leader in Ghana wants to improve the healthcare system.
yeah,
And so they are putting in effort to doing that. I mean,
okay,
the recent pandemic, which we are all fighting, we have seen our limits. We've seen how we could do, and people say whether we've been lucky or not, we are dealing with this pandemic as we speak now, and our cases have been encouraging because our guys are on top of it.
yeah,
So in all, what I would say is those stories, when you hear, it should not dampen your spirit, or it should not be posed. And it's very good for you to have conversations with, especially your friend, people who have made that journey, who have come to Ghana, and who are now
Yeah.
living the life in Ghana too. So you understand it, because I could be selling it out because I want to sell Ghana out to you very well. But
Yeah.
people who are there can also share their testimonies. And it is an
Yeah.
area that, for me, I think you can have control. If you are deciding to move from the UK to come and stay in Ghana, I would expect that you will have that same decision to be able to choose the best healthcare for yourself when you are in Ghana. And
Yeah.
so there are other, I mean, people who work with different companies, or people who are even working for, if even you have your own private company, there are private hospitals or private healthcare schemes all over available, which you can purchase, you can subscribe to, and then
Yeah.
see how that goes. So it's a comprehensive system, and you just have to dig in and see
Yeah.
what it is.
I guess, yeah, it's it's just finding that right sort of balance, and like you rightfully said, it shouldn't be something that should put me off from going there. I mean, it's probably the same in all other most other African countries, and it's something, if they're working on it, then it should not put me off. It's probably because I'm kind of the person, I have to know all the facts before I make a decision, and having children, you want to make the right decision. You're not just thinking about yourself, and so on and so forth. The other thing, sorry, if
That's
that's
fine.
okay, is I heard that it's becoming a bit more westernized. People giving the children English names, people not wanting to speak the local language, and that's kind of disheartening to hear, because I'm very pro Africa. I want my children to know the language, and not go. We might as well stay in England if if we're just gonna be speaking English, and that's one of the things that really that's almost heartbreaking to me. Why would you think that it's better to speak English over there? Why aren't we just embracing
So
our our,
this
our,
this
our
is this
language
is an
and
argument. Yeah, this is an argument. I'm not cutting you. Just wanted to jump in and just help,
yeah.
just explain it, get my point across to you. So a lot of my friends, and we are on platforms, and this conversation comes up a lot. This particular subject, and I am on. We all have different opinions and different views on it.
Okay.
So over the years, if I may say, even from since we were all born, we all have seen the influence of Christianity and the Western style of education on us. And so you mentioned Christian names. It's always been that you get baptized into the Christian faith, and you are given a Christian name, and that's why that is there, and it still continues to be the case. What I know is that for the past few years, a lot of people have been very conscious on that particular naming and religious name, or maybe English name being given to children. So it is actually decreasing in terms of people are now going with their names, and even for some of
Right.
us who have English names, people are now, we are deliberately and consciously trying to
Yeah.
use our local names, and because some of the names has already been official, until you go through the proper official lines to
Yeah.
change your
Yeah.
name,
Yeah.
then so we
Yeah.
still keep our official names, but we still front with our traditional and local names.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that is working very, very well nowadays
Yeah.
across all over the world with Ghanaians where they are. In terms of the English language, so as with all the other all the African countries who went through colonization and all that, English is our official language as a country.
Mm-hmm.
And so, fortunately, unfortunately, whichever way you look at it, we haven't been able to get one local language to be official in Ghana.
Yeah.
So even though I would say there are Kans who predominantly speak dialects in Chi. So we have the Chi dialect, which have different types of
Yeah.
that's a lot majority sort of understands in Ghana.
Yeah.
Ghana hasn't decided to go with one official name that could possibly represent Ghana, and then we can look at maybe whether it is so. Ghanaian languages are being taught in schools, but it depends on which area or which region that you are in Ghana, where the local language would then be studied in school. That is where, so children go to school and they speak English, they write in English, they are tested in English and all that. That's all we all went through. That is understandable.
Yeah. Okay.
Which I understand. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
What is the sad thing that you are describing is that we have, because traditionally we were brought up in a communal environment. We grew up in a communal house. You have aunties, cousins, you have neighbors and all that. And we spoke Chi at home. What is happening is families are now smaller now. Dad, mother, 2 kids who live together, who live in their own apartment. Possibly the children goes to a private school. Private school doing British or American curriculum. And so from the home to the house, it's English language. And that is what is happening for some people. That does not mean the kids cannot speak the local language. What is happening is they are speaking the English language more and more in public, even though for me, I have experiences with family that I know that the kids can speak the Twi language or they can speak the local language when it comes up to. So in what I would say is, and for you, it is the same, you're going to experience it. Imagine when you bring your kids to Ghana, you will be looking for the best sort of quality education for them. And where they go, they are going to find themselves in a school where the same accent will be spoken in the same language, because most of these kids will probably be expatriates, diplomatic corps, people working for, if the children goes through the private school system, the international schools, where the cost is a little bit higher than the average Ghanaian can afford and all that. But there are equally good schools that is also across the country, whereby you might not have that kind of problem. Even though, interestingly, the schools in Ghana encourages kids to speak English. So even if you go to the public schools, you would have a big sign written on the school wall, speak English in school. I can understand, you see, but the question is, these kids...
I have a problem with that.
I get it. I get it. I know what it is. But every time this conversation comes, I see it's a much bigger problem than just the school system. It is a combination of a lot of westernization that has come through our system over the years. And so if we want to tackle this, the conversation has to start from a very broad, high-level state where people in positions who can make those changes could be able to say, this is the way we want to go, and this is how we're going to go about it. In our own individual ways, and with families and friends, people are encouraging themselves and encouraging their friends to understand that the local language is still important to be spoken and to be known. And I know we've also let ourselves down, passing on sort of traditions and culture. That's also something that is affecting us a lot, because you grow up, and I remember growing up, you grew up with your grandma, your grandfather telling you stories, and those stories tellings, it's stopped over a period. Those things stopped, and so now
Yeah.
people, kids and children, don't sit together listening to these traditional stories, these folk tales, and all that. That that
Mm-hmm.
that would have helped the society to
Yeah.
understand
Absolutely.
that thing. So I, for me, it is a whole change that we need, and I know we will get
Yeah.
there. For what my understanding has always been is that there should always be people like us who are constantly aware and will be talking about it. Other than that, there wouldn't
Yeah.
be even the opportunity for something like that to change. So once
Yeah.
there are a lot of people who are conscious nowadays and looking at that those angles, people, it is the same. It's the same way the way our traditional medicine has been left out, the way some of
Mm-hmm.
our herbal medicine
Yeah.
have been left aware. If we had the opportunity to sort of push and improve it, it would have been a very good industry
Yeah.
for us. So I mean, talking
I
about traditional stuff and all that, do you want to dive into the farming stuff, or you had something else that you wanted to talk about?
no, it's true. Like I just brought up that point because I've noticed that it's more, you know, people in the diaspora who are more interested in local languages than the people who are actually there. And I find that quite interesting. Like over here, you know, I'm involved in group chats, and everyone wants, you know, they all want their children to know, you know, Twi. They want their children to know whatever languages in Africa, but it's crazy that it's not that important over there, that English is more important, you know. So it's just having, you know, just seeing that disparity. But yes, jumping into agriculture, I've always been into farming. I'm not into farming. I've always had a passion for it. Like I like plants, you know, planting things. I like open air. I love animals. That's my kind of thing. Um, and I thought it'd be a good thing to get into once I decide to move over to Ghana. Obviously, I will have to quit my job. I will have to do, you know, just put plans in place to
Mhm.
make sure that I can sustain, you know, my family whilst we're over there, and not just get into something and find out like we need to come back to England, you know, because we can't afford it, or you know. So it's just all those sorts of questions. What is it that we can do there? And for me, the first thing that came to mind was agriculture, and hence I got in contact with you. You know, all my research led me to you. So yes, that's and I just don't know where to start. I just don't know, you know, how to go about it. There's so, as you know, I have so many questions, and for me the main thing, we've touched on a whole lot of things, you know, linking up with, or you know, going into partnerships with local farmers, but then I have the trust issue. So it's just you know, there's just so much involved, and there's just so many questions.
Are you thinking of a trip, an initial trip before you talk?
Yes,
So
yeah,
how? Yes, wait. So that is
yes,
very important.
yeah. So once we find out what's happening with the borders, I will definitely look into going over there. I know my friend is in East or West Legon. I'm not sure whichever one.
Okay.
She's in
Yeah.
one of those. Um, and yeah, hopefully, you know, go and stay, you know, take some time and go over there, spend some time seeing what's available and how things are done, and see if it's something that I think I can do. Because obviously, in my mind, I think this is what will work, but if I go out there, I might find that it's a completely different ball game.
Yeah, it's very interesting you mentioned it. And as I said, if you see it as I call it a taster, just come and have a taste of the country. Come and see
Yeah,
what for yourself, the talk,
yeah,
and as you said, the air, and that you so much been wanting
yeah,
to come and experience and all that. So
yeah,
I think that's perfect. It's very good that you come to understand what is here, the challenges, seeing it first time, adding it to your research so you can plan on it very well and all that. So it's very, very interesting. So it's very interesting because a lot of people have got their own opinions and, as you said, research, and it will never, you can never have it right until you step foot and on the continent. And once you are here, then you can understand what you're really talking about, because I've had people who came here, and even what they came in with initially, they had to sort of change, because you could be here and you could see an opportunity that might be different from what sector you even wanted to go in, because you just see and you are seeing things for your own self. So that's very, very interesting. The last conversation, I think it was on one of my videos. I spoke to somebody who is still in Ghana. So because of this pandemic, she came in for initially, I think, 2 months, but she's had to be here, and it's just helping her to really define what she wanted to do. And she's in the process, almost ready to set up her NGO and launch it and all that. And that opportunity is just given to her. But her being here has just given her the push to be able to do things the right way and how to go about it. And as once you understand that you are not coming in to enjoy. What I was saying is, once you are here, it can help you to fine tune all the ideas and the talk and what you've put down, and it's good. So let's see how this goes.
So for me, it's because obviously, like I said to you, I work in auditing, so in the construction, mainly construction, different industries, but mainly in the construction industry. But I don't know if that's something else that I could get into there or whatever, but my mind is more or less set on what I want to do.
If you say auditing in the construction, can you, what is it?
Yeah, like I don't know if you're familiar with like ISO management systems. So I do, like, different management systems like health and safety. I do quality, environmental, information, so 27001. So I do manage for a particular company. I'm an audit manager for those systems. So I don't know where Ghana is with that, but like I said, I feel like I need change.
It's very interesting. You'll be surprised why I'm just looking at it, because that's what I do.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Professionally, that's what I do.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Especially purely on, because I'm construction biased. So so health and safety and environment, it's something that So it's
oh
very,
my goodness.
So there is to tell you that there is a lot of opportunity in that area. Even though you say you are looking for a change, it is an area, because you're already working in it as a professional. It is an area that could help you to settle and look at, if we can look at how we can go. It's because I sometimes do a lot of consulting. So if we can put together some good proposals and something around that, we would be able to be able to get to some.
We can discuss that aside to
the
other.
Definitely. It's something that you should look at it very well. We'll talk about it, but yes, let's look at that area very well, because one thing that is coming up, it's because there's a lot of foreign-based companies here. And even though our management certification systems, it's not widely, if I may say, for local companies, some of them don't even see the benefits of it. You understand? But if they are looking for businesses and they're going for tender with international companies, they are every now and then they are being asked to sort of to do it. And one of the things that's really coming up nowadays is the information technology one. You see,
27,001.
absolutely,
Yeah.
which is going to be really serious for financial institutions in the next few years. I tell you what, you can mark it on the wall. So it is an area that we can look at very well, put it together and see how you can support organizations who are interested in those things. So that's
Okay.
that's good. So what I'm trying to say is people have a lot of things that they are already doing, which can be a baseline for them before you get in. Because with the travels up and down, and what I've seen is you always need to have something that you can fall on, not that you are not sure where you're going.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity, and whatever you want to be doing, you're going to be needing resources to be able to do these things. We are talking about land and all those things. If you're able to come in at a different angle and still look at where your ultimate aim is, then there's nothing wrong with it, is it? So
yeah. Okay, I'm open for that. I'm really open for that. So we can discuss that aside to the main, the bigger picture. So I'm really open for that. We can take that further on WhatsApp or wherever you want to. You know, we can discuss that further because it was just in my head. It's something that I thought, you know what, I don't even know where to start with that, you know, and as you know, in Africa, it's who you know, you need to have context for everything. So where do I even begin, you know? So it's just, I just thought to myself, I'm not even going to think about getting into that. So so you telling me that, I'm just like, wow, honestly, it's amazing. It's amazing that you know, you're familiar with you know what I'm talking about. So that's great. That's great.
So what sort of farming have you been thinking about?
Do you know what? I'm the kind of person, I want it all. I want to do everything. I want to not because I know it's impossible, but I do like cattle. You know, I've been thinking obviously about crops. I've thought about, you know, some cows and I'm not too sure about pigs. I don't, you know, I'm not 100% sure, but I've been looking into that as well. But it's mainly you know, chickens and cattle and crops. So starting with crops, I think that would be a good start for me, not to, you know, go too deep into it at first, but to start off with, I would definitely look into crops. So
Any particular crops that you've gotten in, or you are aware that
I don't, and I think it's just a case of what because like I said, I don't have the experience or the knowledge, so I will heavily depend on, you know, the local farmers, their experience and their knowledge. So what should be done at this, you know, during that season, it will be, I don't know, to be honest with you. So it will be mainly for, you know, for to make a profit. So it's not that, oh, I love cabbage, so I'm going to plant cabbage. It's not, you know, I don't have any, you know, I don't know. So it will just depend on what should be done during that season, I think.
I think it's
if I'm thinking on the along the right lines.
Yeah, that's why initially when we spoke, I was very much interested in you getting some partnership with somebody who is already here and already doing, so you understand that this is the crop, this is what's already going on, this is how it's I'm part of this this
Yeah.
farm or whatever, and then you come to understand how that goes, and then if you're looking at possibly going on your own or starting. And I, over the time, what I've realized is that's one of the things that we haven't done so well with our businesses in Ghana. And it's Ghana, I know, but I don't know about the rest of Africa. Maybe it is like that. We are very short when it comes to trying to collaborate and working together. It's something that hasn't, it's not in our DNA. Something for some reason most people want to do things on their own, and so for me, I've always been advising and encouraging that you will learn so much if you collaborate or if you partner with the right people. and and even though you mentioned about trust, which I will ask you something about after this, is that people still need to work together, come together, understand. And the one of the guys that for me, we've managed to work together, and his work is the Sanka farm, the farm that I visited in the Volta region. And even though he lives in the States, he's a Ghanaian who lives in the States. And so he came down, started this farm. We got a couple of local farmers who work with him in the local area. So when he's away, they look at the farm for him, and we supervise, we monitor those what's happening, and feedback to him and all that. So that sort of arrangement would work for the stages. And whether you are here or not, it's something that could be looked into. So that's why it's interesting. If you're able to make it for the first time, we can introduce you to those things, and then you see where you go.
Like for me, it's a case of, like you said, you advised it's probably best to start off before I just go and be like, you know, settle there just to see how it goes. And for me, trust and transparency is the main thing, the main concern.
Since you mentioned it, can you talk, what is it about trust that everybody talk about? What is it?
You know what, it's also from, you know, listening to people, like all these people who build houses. They send people, you know, to go and oversee, and then they buy the wrong product for the houses, or they just don't buy anything, you know, that kind of thing. And it's just, it just puts that fear in you that you can't trust anyone. And obviously at distance, not being there, me sending money over there, how do I know that it will, you know, it will go towards this cause? And I think I think it's a genuine sort of fear that people have. But at the same time, I do think we need to get to a point where we overcome that and start trusting each other, and start building our own communities. And, you know, instead of just, you know, being scared of this, like, you know, unknown, you know, I do think I need to just overcome that, and just partner with the right people like yourself.
And you see the way you described it, it has been built.
I don't know how to put it, but it is quite.
The stories
Go on.
The stories have been built over time, from people hearing stories of what others have done to them, whether family, friends, or whoever back home. You see, so the only way that could be reduced or eliminated is when successful stories are also being told, and that can only happen.
You're right.
And that can only happen when some of us are ready to put their neck on the line to go through that process. Until we get people who are ready to say, of course it is there, but it doesn't mean I wouldn't go, then we would all stop. And so it was one of the reasons why this whole thing started for me, because it has always been that. And even online, there are people who are there, who are trying to attract some people just to do bad things with or bad things too, because there's an opportunity where
Yeah.
people can trust people online and then eventually it doesn't end well. So I understand the space that we are trying to work at, and we can only do that
Yeah.
if we give ourselves the chance. And I mean, as you just said, it was you were just trying to get in contact with somebody. I happen to be somebody that you possibly know my family, and this is happening. And so
Yeah.
if we don't give ourselves that chance, and a lot of people say whenever I respond, they say that, oh, you responded, that's interested, you respond. And I'm like,
Yes. Yeah.
of course, I'm there. I will respond, you know. And so yeah, I wouldn't put my number out there, not and
Yeah.
I respond and I
I didn't
do.
expect that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I do this all the time. All the time, people call me. Sometimes we've gotten, and you know, I've been trying to introduce people and trying to help people to purchase land and get some land information and maybe partner link them with people who have land. And interestingly, Ghanaians who are now in Ghana who have land, plots of land, who are wanting to maybe sell or partner with people are reaching out to me as well. So it's like I'm getting for people from here and from there, trying to bring them together because that is the only way this could work. But in all that, I always make sure I am still part of that process because I will not bring you
Yeah.
and lead you to somebody that I don't know or somebody that I am still not part
Yeah.
of that arrangement. And so
Yeah.
it is, but I know that if you're able to give ourselves the chance now, in a couple of years, there will be a lot of successful stories. There will be a lot of successful
Yeah.
stories. You are
Yeah.
thinking,
Okay.
others are thinking about it, and we just have to get that crossovers, you know.
Yeah. So moving forward, where would you have me? Would you suggest that the first move is go over there and just have a look for myself? And
Yes, yes.
okay,
Travel.
right.
Come for a few days, 10, 15 days. That would allow you. That's not good enough time to know everything, but
Yeah.
it will give you the opportunity to look at the country 360 and say, okay, is this where I really want to be? See, that's very interesting. When you take it all in, you wake
Yeah.
up the next morning, you understand that, okay. And when you go back, you know that, okay, I spent this time, I took my
Yeah.
notes, I compared it. This is how it will work. Maybe I need a couple of years, maybe I need a couple of months, maybe, and then you can think about the total move. But I tell you what, it would be it's something that if it's properly planned, you know, because it all starts with accommodation.
Yeah.
Where do you want to live? Livelihood.
Yeah.
How do you want to survive whilst you are in Ghana? Family life. What is
Yeah.
it the family that you are bringing? Do you have kids? Education. Where do you want them to be? At what stage
Yeah.
of their education life are they in? What is the end game for you and the family? How do you want to live your life when you are in Ghana and getting yourself into the society, embedding yourself with the culture, trying to get all those things planned out, set your timelines, face it out, and make sure that you are achieving that. I think
The
that's
line's getting really bad.
yeah. Your. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah. The line was just really bad for a moment there. Oh,
Yeah,
you
it was.
paused again.
So what I was saying was, if you're able to get that all those important bits line by line
Yeah.
and put a plan around it, knowing that this is what you want to
Yeah.
do, this is how you want to do it, and you want to achieve it by this
Yeah.
time, you can then work towards it. That it has to be well planned.
Well,
I
so
know, yeah, I know a lot of people want to
okay.
come, but you just have to plan it. Go ahead, sorry.
Why is it doing this?
I
Do you
can
know
hear
what?
you.
The weather's really bad. The weather's really bad. I don't know if it's to do with the weather.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know why it's gone so, why the line's so bad, but the weather's really bad at the moment. Um, so I think for now is like, would you suggest just coming over and then obviously in the meantime still doing my research and still, you know, think obviously saving up is probably the most important thing that I need to do, because it's easy to ask how much do you think you should save up for, because it will be different for everybody depending on,
Absolutely.
you know, what it is they will be doing over there. Um, so I think for now it's just going over there and just like I said, doing my research and doing my savings, and hopefully still asking you questions via WhatsApp, and you know, checking if I'm on the right track
Yeah.
and that kind of thing.
I think that's the best way to go for now. And as I said earlier, I'm still keeping I'm still in touch with a lot of people who got lands and farming ideas and all that. So if
Yeah,
anything comes up, or if whenever something interesting comes up, I'll give you a nudge. I mean, I spoke to somebody who is a Ghanaian who's got some about 12 acres of land within the eastern region in the coal area,
yeah,
and he's very much interested in any form of partnership or any form of whatever, if somebody's interested in coming on with
yeah,
him and that. So those type of opportunities are all over, and it just needs people who are ready so that we can take it to the
yeah,
next step. And so for me, and everybody asks me a question, I tell them what it is, what the situation is, and if they want to move into the next angle, then we look at it. I also spoke to a gentleman few weeks ago, and interesting. This gentleman was introduced to me by somebody who saw me on Facebook or YouTube, and she wants to invest in this gentleman's business. So the gentleman is doing. I'm going to go visit his factory in very soon, and I'll do a video about it. It's very interesting. He's into organic fertilizers. Okay,
ah,
and
yeah,
so after we spoke, I realized now he needs to. They want to move it from the sort of small scale into a proper factory. And
right,
so he's asking for some form of investment and all that. Maybe I'll share with you later on
yeah,
at the backstage, so you look at the numbers, and then if you want to talk it. So
yeah,
those are all those areas that people will be able to invest their money in now.
yeah,
Because it's a whole chain of agriculture, and it's if that is there and you start your whatever farming, because at the moment all the
mm-hmm,
raw materials come from farms and animals and all that to feed
yeah,
the factory. So those are areas that we are trying to introduce people, that not everybody has to go and do the farm. You
that's
can be
it.
you can be involved in the agriculture chain, whether
Mm-hmm,
it is logistics, whether you are the one who is providing the transportation to
mm-hmm,
move the produce after harvest to the market and the ports. And very interesting, I mentioned this before. This is one of the things that costs Ghana a lot of money: post-harvest loss. So whenever the harvest is done, there's a lot of food produce that go waste,
right,
go bad
okay,
before it gets to the consumer. There is a chunk. Sometimes it's about 30% for some
oh wow,
crops. Yes, and it's all because storage is a problem,
okay,
transportation is a problem, and it's a challenge. So if people are even willing to invest in some storage facilities closer to some of these areas, or you want to move into transportation businesses, moving the trucks,
yeah,
moving the produce from one city to the other, that's also a business that has also got some good returns.
right, right. See, it's all those things that I'm not aware of, you know, that I've, you know, never even thought about. Um, but like I said, I will obviously get a feel for it once I come over, and once we talk more, and not just to, you know, put all my eggs in one basket. Um, so the more we talk, the more I will, you know, I will understand and learn, and see what it is that I actually see myself also doing, or maybe do different things. I'm also open to do that. So yeah, I think, you know, just it's good that you're in touch, and I'll be asking you loads of questions moving
Yeah,
forward. So
I
yeah.
think that's good. That's good. Is there anything in Ghana that would be a deal breaker for you? What would just stop you from moving? Is there anything at all that would?
I don't know. I haven't thought about that. I think for me it is, I mean, things like, I'm not going to be petty, things like electricity, water, and all that. We have the same issues in South Africa. So things like that, I'm not too worried about. But I think crime, maybe. You know, if it's high level crime, I don't think I'd want to stay there, but I don't think that's the case over there. You know,
That's
no
not.
one's ever said to me, that's the thing. No one's ever said that to me, so that's not a concern for me. And for me, it's crime. As you know, I'm coming from a country, South Africa, is that the crime level is just ridiculous over there, and that's one of the reasons why I don't, you know, want to move back to South Africa. But I've never heard any stories about Ghana and all that, and that's why I'm not concerned about that. And I never actually thought of, I'm from Africa. Wherever I go to Africa, you know, for me it's just a case of I'm gonna go back to Africa at some
Yeah,
point. So
absolutely. I mean, it's like I mean, it's actually it's even a silly question because trust me, if it's your home, it's your home. You know,
yeah,
what would
exactly.
make you not stay there? You see,
Yeah,
so it's yeah, it's your home. But
that's why I never
yes,
thought about it.
you
That's why
are
I
born
never
today
thought.
here. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
And England is not my home. It's not. You know, when you're in England, you know, when you leave your house, you know this is not home. You know, come Monday morning, this is not my home. Every day, you know,
It's very
ah,
interesting you say
this is
this. It's
just,
very interesting you say it. And I don't know whether it's it's different for those of us who traveled maybe when we've experienced life in Africa before. And I always say this
mm,
that our experiences are very different, Black people all over the world. And so for Africans who were born in Africa, stayed here and then traveled, we see
yeah,
it differently. For our
yes,
kids who were born over there and growing up, they are going to see it differently. For
yeah,
Caribbeans in Caribbean, different those in the States.
yeah,
So everybody is seeing this from a different perspective. The
yeah,
interesting thing is that this is the first time, and I always say this is the first time that all these people are thinking and seeing that our home is Africa. This is the first time
yeah,
that
yeah,
we are all sort of trying to work together to achieve that.
yeah.
And being
Common
that
goal.
speaking,
Yeah,
yeah, if it means linking up with a local, if it means spending time with somebody who is in Ghana or in other parts of Africa, and that process is working. And last year was amazing during the year of return thing that we did,
yeah,
because this year was going to be a launching time for people who were wanting, because a lot of people didn't come last year because they thought it was too much of events and a lot of people. So they were going to come in 2020 just
yeah,
to do proper implementation of
yeah,
their plans and ideas. It's still not over. I always say we're going to get through this, and once the borders are open, I know a lot of people are going to be coming. I am very sure of that.
yeah,
And even
yeah,
with this pandemic, I think Africa would have been the place for all of us to stay, you know. So
yeah,
that's also very very interesting. So yes, Is there any other thing that you want us to touch on?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, obviously, my children are half African, half Ghanaian, but I don't know what would, the process be for them to get Ghanaian passports. That's the other thing, that there's so much to plan, there's so much to think about. I know they only the what do you call it? The what do you call it? Sorry, I can't remember. But anyway, they're only opening a thing on the 4th of July. For
The
me to go and try and.
The Ghana High Commission.
Sorry, the High Commission. Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
I need to go and find out what we can do to sort out.
That's why I was going to ask that they are the best people to speak to the Ghana High Commission.
I'll speak, but other than that, I think, because I'm quite open-minded about business. I think I'm quite business savvy. I do online, I do e-commerce. I do, those sort of things over here. And I'm not afraid to invest once I see that, once it's a good investment. I'm not afraid about that, and I don't think I'm not going there to become a billionaire or anything, because that's not my aim. My aim is, just like I said, it's peace of mind, and just that sort of, just that, just that I just want that peace. That's basically the main reason why I want to go over there. And yeah, I'm not too concerned about not having enough. I don't think that will be that's not a worry for me. Making, being in England, if you have earning, or I'm not going there to try and match what I'm making here. That's not one of the the things that I'm thinking about. So right now it's just, where do I start? How do I plan? I don't know how it was for you, but it's draining, because it constantly plays on my mind. Like, there's so much to plan, there's so much to do, there's so much to think about. So it does get difficult, and I'm scared that I might forget certain things that I should be thinking about. So it's good that, if something comes to mind, I can just text you and
that's fine. And as for me, it all starts with you making up your mind. You have to decide that this is what you want to do, and then you stick to it. Because, as you just said, even coming in, once you even come, there are going to be certain times you ask yourself, is this the right thing I did? And that is the times that you need to then understand that you decided this for a reason, and you are working towards that purpose. It's going to work out when you have, as I said earlier, write those things down, what you need. If it's about the immigration stuff, what do you need to achieve? What are the type of questions that you need to ask? I'm very much that once a parent is of Ghanaian descent, the Ghana High Commission should be able to sort that thing out. Because other than that, if you come here with as a foreign national, then you would have to be sort of going to the Ghana Commission to look for getting extension to your visas and all that. But there should be, because part of the family is Ghanaian, you should be able to sort that Ghanaian portion out there at the London High Commission, and that should be sorted, so you know the status that you are in whilst you are here. That should be one of the first things that you need to get sorted out, so you know you can travel in peace and it wouldn't give you any.
That's it. Absolutely.
Once that is over, and if there's any questions anytime, don't hesitate.
We'll follow up again, hopefully, once I've made that decision, or maybe when I'm there, we could follow up and let you know how I'm getting on with my plan, and so forth. And like you said, if people who are looking for partnerships, let me know, and see if it's something that I can do at this moment in time. And yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
So I think we've done well. We've touched on almost all the things that
Yeah.
we wanted to talk
Yeah.
about. It's good.
Yeah.
For me, I'm very excited when I hear these stories. People who, especially those who are not Ghanaians and who now want to move to Ghana, and they have this right mindset, and they are coming to Ghana. It's of one that they want to come and be part of the society and try and sort of use their skills or their business to help and support the community.
Yeah.
For me,
Yeah.
that if that agenda is pushed very well, in the next 20 years, we would see a lot of changes in the country, because
Yeah.
it's when you sit as an outsider, and I always say people who travel out of their country and you are sit as an outsider and all you want to do is complain and criticize, you are not helping. You see, we are not helping
Absolutely. Absolutely.
until we decide that we want to be part of the solutions and live and try
That's
and
it.
then it's of good
Yeah.
will. So yeah,
That's
thank
the thing.
you very much for
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
for
Thank you
coming
very
on
much.
Ghana Money TV. Meet you later in Ghana.
Meet you later. Thanks.
Bye bye. Medase.
Bye. 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 Bye.
Bye.
Bye.